surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's another month though, isn't it? 16th.
Call this meeting order.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Pipia,
Present.
Fry, Schroller,
Here.
Hughes,
Present.
Beichman, Price,
Here.
Behrens,
Here.
Thrum.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. First up, we have the approval of minutes.
Moved approved regular minutes, July 12th, 2021, as written.
Second.
Okay. Any changes or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
6-0.
6-0. All right. Next up, we have public comment. Is anybody here for public comment? Business and discussion items. First up, we have ordinance number 1901.
Moved to approve ordinance 1901, the uniform offensive ordinance 2021.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
6-0.
6-0. Next up, ordinance number 1902.
Moved to approve ordinance 1902, standard traffic ordinance 2021.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have the 2022 budget advertisement.
This is just for your approval. It's the budget we talked about at the budget meeting, and I just needed your approval to put it in the paper so we can have the hearing on August 9th. So this is just for the advertisement.
Moved to approve the 2020 budget advertisement.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have the B&W Electric grave opening agreement.
Moved to approve the agreement with B&W Electric, Russell Behrens, and grave openings.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have Resolution 2021-12, Squirrel Crawl, extending premises for alcohol.
Move to approve resolution 2021-12. Second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
We had an event this last weekend that was sponsored and had alcohol at it. There's no tape, no nothing put up around this facility or the site.
Okay.
If we're gonna have alcohol at these sites, and it's supposed to be cordoned off.
Okay.
Was this a private event, or
It
was
was one that was okayed through us,
The Park?
yes.
Okay.
Seriously?
I didn't see their site. I was not here, so, yeah. Okay.
Because I think to be in compliance, it's supposed to be taped off and boarded off.
Right,
Boarded off.
and, yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
that way.
this one,
This one's barricades,
will have barricades, yes.
That's fine,
Yep.
just making it well known.
Yep.
Didn't they show us a?
Yeah,
Yes.
and they said they would barricade there
Yeah.
as well.
Yes, and then they didn't do it.
Okay.
All right. Any further discussion about that one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have Resolution 2021-13, the Boston Nationals extending the premises for
Moved to
alcohol.
approve Boss Nationals extending premises request.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Next up, we have Mark Hoffman with the gravel dash.
Mark Hoffman. Councilman, representing the Point Express Gravel Dash. Thanks for having me, and Kate's here also.
Yep.
We're making the plans for the 8th Annual Point Express Gravel Dash, September 10th and 11th. And we have a few requests from the city. We'd like to request the city crew to erect the white tent, I believe it's the barbecue tent that we used last year, east of the Main Street Tourism Office building.
What are you gonna use that facility for?
Riders, or is that where we'll be meeting and doing awards?
Could be for the awards,
Just wanna know,
also.
it takes our time to put the tent up and
Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah.
tear it down, pack it up, put it away. We don't need a
we
facility
need
that big.
shade. It's always, there's always people looking for shade.
Like I said,
And
I'm gonna
also-
get nosy, so.
I'm fine.
Don't have a specific, details yet, but we try to put up as much shade as we can in the corridor. This could be done at the convenience, by maybe Thursday, September 9th. We'd also like to request the use of barricades to block off the depot location and Broadway location. I think there's maps attached. All of the activities on Friday will be at the depot, in front of the depot, on the depot grounds. We'll have our bike packers start on Friday. There's currently 27 riders signed up for that. They'll be taking off Friday morning, and then we'll have rider check-in all Friday afternoon, riders meeting, the spaghetti dinner, supper is at the depot, so all our activities will be at the depot on Friday. So we'd like to block off the area there, notated on by red, which is kind of similar to what we did last year, only not as far north. We just need basically mostly in front of the building, just to be able to have stuff going on the street. And then on Saturday, the Broadway location is notated, half of the 700 block, all of the 600 block, and then south on the corridor to the alley, just south of Broadway. Is kind of what we're planning on. The start-finish line will be back, right south of the Point Express sculpture that we've had in previous years, before last year. The riders will be taking off going east on Broadway, and then they'll be finishing coming from the south on 6th Street onto Broadway and coming to the east, towards the east, to finish at 7th Broadway. And let's see. We asked, we put on their, location that the barricades could be dropped off. Number of barricades, is up to, whatever the street crew determines we need to block
I
those
was
streets
gonna ask
off.
how many you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Friday morning, I guess Thursday, we asked them to be dropped off at the depot area. And then Friday for the Main Street location. Our volunteers will put up and tear down the barricades and return them to the, where they were dropped off by the city on Friday and Saturday. We're also requesting a police escort. Like I mentioned before, the riders will be leaving 7th and Broadway location going east at 7:30 a.m., turning south on 8th Street, going through the city park to the southeast corner of the park onto the highway, going south on Highway 77 and then turning on East River Road. So that's where we would just need the police escort to end when they turn on to East River Road. One other thing that I don't have on here, I'd like to add possibly, if we could have the street sweeper maybe go over the overpass sometime during that week, because there's glass on the side, on both sides.
We can't do that.
That's not city.
Yeah, that's, go over the overpasses highway, the KDOT.
Okay.
So that,
They did it 3 years ago.
well,
I'm just going one past. So we can talk to the state about maybe brushing it off or something. Because, yeah, there's glass along the overpass on the, the shoulder area where the bicycles will be riding.
yeah.
Especially when they're coming back to town. They're going to go over overpass leaving, and they'll be coming back over the overpass from the south to return to town. We would like to ask the city council for approval of consumption of beer within the barricaded area as previously requested. We will have signage and we'll fill out the necessary paperwork for this request, and I believe that's in conjunction with the wagon wheel and their alcohol permit, things that they need to do.
Yep, they got that.
Because they're planning to have the beer garden or the beer bin, and I believe right next to their
Yeah.
building,
Do it on
yeah,
Broadway.
on the corridor.
Okay.
Broadway too, or just in the corridor area?
Well, and previously, I think as long as it was within the barricaded area,
areas.
which would include those parts of Broadway that we have barricaded off.
And say, normally I think they're right in the middle. Sorry, my picture's not the greatest, but like right here, like right in this area, right next to, if you were to take a left by the door. Right by the
Where
Love
the-
Marysville,
where the
like
beer
right in the
garden
middle.
would be.
Right,
Yes.
yeah.
Right, that's what
I believe that's all, is that all we have as far as requests and questions for us? As far as the event, we are sold out, we have 300 entries, so that was our goal.
Very nice.
First time we've ever sold out, so we're excited about that.
One more couldn't get in?
We have a waiting list,
You do really?
yeah, because there'll be people that'll drop out, and then we'll add the ones on the waiting list as needed, so.
You
Are
better
you
watch out,
looking to
Terry, they'll
join?
have you in there.
I was gonna wanna get in there.
We have a 30-mile ride.
Yeah, well, I'd have to start today.
We need volunteers if you'd like to help out. Anybody that's interested in volunteering, talk to Kate or I. Love to have everybody help out.
If you need a volunteer, let me know.
Oh, will do.
Any questions for us? We're excited to be back on Broadway after, last year. I mean, the Depot's a great location. That's kind of why we split it up between the 2 days this year, because the Depot people love to have us, and we like being there, but they also want to be on Broadway. So I think it's going to be great to have it in both locations for 2 days. And we are coordinating with the 9/11 parade staff as far as timing. Our riders will be gone, the runners will be gone
Right.
when the parade lines up and goes east from.
Which, when I talked to Dean Thomas, he said that it's about 8:45 that everybody will start lining up, and then, we might have a few runners coming in, maybe a little bit, but it won't be.
They'll be coming from the west. The parade is going
From east to
east,
west.
so it shouldn't be an issue with the parade.
Right. So we're kind of working closely, because Main Street also helps out with that too, so we'll just make sure that everything's in line for that day.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, somebody want to make a motion on resolution 2021-14?
Do we need to do this, two motions or
Yes,
just one?
two
Probably.
motions.
Move to approve the gravel dash request for barricades and tents.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0.
Move to approve
Extend the
resolution 2021-14, gravel dash extending the premises on alcohol.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 6-0. Kate, you're up again.
Yep. Okay, so I am here to give the 6-month update for Chamber and Main Street. Kind of what we've done the last 6 months. We have hosted a legislative forum, which happened in March. Let's kind of backtrack a little bit. Last year, we got to do some of our spring events. We missed a lot of our summer events in 2020. We were able to pick up some fall events back up. I mean, we did fairly good for the most part for events, but we were missing Mother's Day Market and Big Blue River Days, which we got to make up for this year. We had legislative forum, which gave our business members and the community an opportunity to hear from Senator Bowers and Representative Lisa Mosier. We had Shamrock Marysville. With the local mask mandate, we were still able to provide a great event while promoting a safe shopping experience. We had a lot of local participation, which in 2020, it was the first year for Shamrock Marysville, and it was very cold, and it was right before we kind of went on lockdown. So it wasn't as successful, but this year we did see a lot more activity, which was very promising for a new event. Mother's Day Market. This year was a little challenging, but we overcame a lot. The volunteers that we had were remarkable. I mean, we put out some great food. We made quite a bit of sales under the circumstances, but I think overall we did a great job raising money for the Kester House Museum and Gardens. Since 2020, we weren't able to do that. It was nice kind of getting that back to them this year. Big Blue River Days was pretty successful. We had a very fun-packed 2 days, live music, great food. We had a lot of participation through our 26 teams for the KCBS contest. The car show was phenomenal. I mean, it was a little down this year, but I don't think by very much. I think they saw a really great show for a show and shine. But we also had El Ranchero come down and do a taco stand. I think they've been doing this the last few years, but we're even getting some local participation even in this event too, so it's really nice seeing that in sponsorship as well. And then some events we have coming up. I have talked to you previously about Squirrels Just Want to Have Fun. This is the 5th year again. In 2019, we had approximately 140 women participate in this event. Last year, we actually got 164, so 24 more than usual. And this year, we're trying to shoot for 200. We're at 74, I think, right now, so it's not looking too bad. We got a couple more weeks, but we're hopeful that sales will kind of pick up within the next week after Beach Boys. They're kind of waiting to see how this weekend goes, I think. I'm trying to think. In more events that we have coming up, as Mark and I had talked about, Pony Express 120 Gravel Dash and the 9/11 ceremony that's going on Broadway and at the Depot this year on September 11th. We have the Highway 36 Treasure Hunt and Broadway sidewalk sales. That will be September 16th, 17th, and 18th. We are hosting our Soup Day fundraiser again on October 14th. We are hosting Black Squirrel Night this year on October 28th. So that will be back again. Small Business Saturday, November 27th, and then the Marysville Christmas and Santa Parade. We're all looking forward to these events, hopeful that things kind of stay where they are and not get anything too crazy like we were seeing a year ago, but you never know, so we'll plan as accordingly, and we're looking forward to these events since, this will be my first year around again, so let's, fingers crossed, it's good. But some other things that we've kind of added to our organization, I started releasing a monthly newsletter to kind of keep you up to date with any business after hours we have going on, anything going on in our organization, calendar changes, events, ways you could volunteer for events. We're kind of listing everything at this point for our newsletter, but then we also launched a new website in January too, which has a directory to our businesses. It's kind of still a work in progress, but we're getting there. There's a lot of links to add to businesses, and there's a lot of different pages to put all on there. But and then another thing that we also have available are IWW funds. We're able to loan those out with 0 interest. Anybody that's in the downtown district area is available to fill out an application and potentially get approved for those. So I think that's all I got. Kind of went down through the whole list. But yeah, does anybody have any questions for me?
Nope, very good.
Thank you.
Busy, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes, it is nice.
Yeah,
Oh gosh.
it is.
Who knew we were going to be here last year, It was kind of not looking so good in November, but it kind of, things started to get better. So I'm hopeful that, we continue to be safe and things start to kind of work out for the community, get back to normal a little bit. Starting to see it.
Thank you, Kate.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we've got a request for Attorney General's opinion. Terry Hughes.
Yes.
Terry?
Thank you, Ike. I've been looking at this after especially last week, or last meeting, when it come down to breaking a tie to decide to go along with this. I went back home and I studied it and studied it. And I still can't believe we did this. And I went ahead and, because I was told that this was all right with the league, I finally got a hold of the league, and that last piece of paper that I sent around was an answer back, but I didn't get it in time for it to be in the packet. I didn't get it till Wednesday at 4:47. But after what she said, just to make sure that we're right, I really think it's imperative that we go through the process of getting an opinion from the Attorney General about this, rather than having all of a sudden we're liable for something that happens because the council didn't get to vote on it. One person made the decision. I think it's a bigger thing than that. I think 8 of us should decide on something before we get set up where we're in a lawsuit over something. So if we're doing it exactly correct, we don't have to worry about it. So I would really like to have an Attorney General opinion for this issue on this ordinance that we passed.
Do you have any idea how long that would take? Have they told you the time frame? Asking for the Attorney General to look it over?
I didn't ask if I have all the paperwork to read about that, but if our attorney represents us, because we can't do it singly, but if our attorney represents us with them, they'll get right on it if it's something that's detrimental to what the city's doing. And time can be an essence for everything we do, but still this has to be done right, because if it's done wrong and the city is sued over something that happens because we delegated our authority instead of keeping our authority, we're making a big mistake and we're going to be liable for it. Nobody says that's going to happen. But I really believe that we should ask to know that we're doing according to Kansas and all the statutes, instead of doing something that somebody says, when this lady said what she said, it's never been done before. So let's see what the Attorney General's got to say about
To
it.
clarify, she says, I've never seen this before.
Right.
It doesn't mean it hasn't been done before. Just because this one person has never seen it, doesn't mean it hasn't been done.
No, but she's the head of the League of the law part of the League of Municipalities. If she says that, I got a little bit of faith in what she said, so.
Okay, and then the last line, you might ask your city attorney for some research or repeal by implication, what is the likelihood of being challenged? So ask your city attorney, is what she's saying.
Which we have.
I'm not wanting to argue. I know you want the power, Austin, but what I want is an Attorney General's opinion on what we did as a council. It has nothing to do with you as an employee. This is a council matter. So
I'm just reading what she said.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I hope everybody here read what she said. It alarmed me when I saw it. And I think the simplest way to handle this whole thing.
What exactly, John said that we should, when he was here last time, he said we should go ahead and follow what we had. Is that correct? Is that what John said?
He said he could do it either way.
Either way.
And the way that if we did it and we wanted to follow the Constitution of the state of Kansas, we wouldn't be getting rid of a charter ordinance without replacing it with a charter ordinance.
He said we could do it either way, and the difference is one way If you do
Right.
charter ordinance, it's gonna cost us $6,000 or $8,000 if we have to put it on the ballot.
It won't
The
have to
other
go on
way,
the ballot. There's no
If-
reason
I
that it
think he
has to go
said
on.
60 signatures and it has to go on the ballot. So it
That's
was a very
if
low
somebody
threshold.
wants to put it on the ballot, they
If
gotta
60
get the
people get a
signatures to
petition
do it.
together,
That
then you
is
have to put it on the
correct.
ballot. Which would cost us $6,000 or $8,000.
For us to do something that we're supposed to do and do it right, that's a,
I mean, what's it gonna hurt if we go to the Attorney General and have him get his opinion? It's not gonna hurt anything.
I don't know how long that I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long that takes.
Just for clarification, so if you guys really wanted an Attorney General's opinion, you would basically vote on it and have the attorney, he has to write his opinion, submit it to the Attorney General,
correct.
and then they take that opinion, and on their own time, reply back. And one of the statements that, John McNish had said the last time he submitted, a question for another city, he got, 2 years later, a reply back saying, we're not gonna, give you an opinion on this question. That's, I mean, he stated that to me, and I told him I'd tell you guys, so. I'm not going to, I hate to speak for people, but, according, and he can elaborate when he comes back at a following meeting, because if you're going to ask him, to, apply for an Attorney General's opinion, he might as well be here to discuss that with you. But after he went through all the stuff that's in the packet, his stance has not changed. And Jason had that conversation with him as well, if I'm right. His stance had not changed after Councilmember Hughes put this forth in the council packet.
But I don't understand why you think that we have to change the ordinance anyway. I mean, why don't we just leave it the way it is, and the council has the right to, I mean, why do you think that you have to have the control of,
Here's
appointing?
where I'm coming from. He's a city administrator. We hire him to oversee the operations of the city and our employees.
Why should
So
we
you give him the
micromanage?
authority to oversee the employees. We are the check and balance because we oversee him. So if he does something that we don't like, we are the check and balance on him. It's not like he doesn't have a check on him.
Well, pretty soon that we might as well not have a council. We already have given him
No,
more.
no.
We've already given him so he can spend more money.
Well, that's just, he's gotta have purchasing
Now we're gonna
authority.
give him the authority to
Do you
pick
want
the,
him?
But there's a lid on how much he can spend.
There is.
there
There's
is,
a limit.
but we're giving him more and more authority all
You
the
know what?
time.
5,000.
But
You need to have one person take care of the employees. The problem is, if you have 8 people going to Kent or going to Gary, one person will have one opinion, another person will have another, and then, well, you should get this done over here, or you should go down on Fifth Street and get that done. This is why we have one person. That way, we go to him, tell him what's going on, and then he does his job and he manages the employees. There isn't, like I said, there isn't 8 different people chasing the employees down and taking them off of one that they're taking care of, you know, a street with a big hole, say, no, you can't do that, we need you up here, you really shouldn't be doing that.
He has authority over the street department and everybody else. We're talking about the police department, the chief of police,
Are they not employees? Are they not
the
employees?
city clerk.
She's an
They're
employee.
appointed.
Yes.
They are
The
appointed
street
by the
appointment?
mayor. They are
And the police
appointed.
department, the street department, the police department's appointed?
Why are we changing it? It's been like this
Have you
for
read this?
several years.
Have you read this
I'm sure I did.
in the code book?
And
If
the
it-
judge,
if you-
the
if-
municipal judge, I mean, why are we changing this all of a sudden?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
It's
Barry.
worked.
In our own code book, it says, on behalf of the mayor and council, the prescribed and delegated responsibilities and duties of the city administrator shall include, but not be limited to, the following. If you go over to number X, it says hire and fire employees.
Yes.
He's got to do that, other than appointed officers described herein.
Right. And that,
Has no authority over appointed officers.
there's only, according to our code book, there's only 3 appointed employees. One's me, one's the city clerk, one's the deputy city clerk, according to the code book. Back in 2008, the council was unified, according to John McNish, who did the code book back then. They passed a charter ordinance affecting the mayor's appointees and didn't describe anything, which means it was a general opt-out of the Kent State statutes. In 2011, the council passed the code book, which lined out how people were hired and fired. The only 3 that are appointed that are considered employees are the ones I just listed. And then that last line that you just read applies to everybody else. Other than,
It says a majority, our own book does.
under which one?
Underneath, it's it. 301 on appointments. The majority of all members of the council may remove any such officer or employee. We're not, and we're giving that away. Council is, we're giving it away. We're handing it over to you. That's not what we intend to do here
Previous
when we're the
council already
council.
handed it over to him in 2008.
11 was when they did the code book. 2008 is when they started it. And the description of the attorney that was on file at that point in time was the council was trying to unify a structure of employees. That if you read all of our job descriptions, other than mine, including the city clerk, including the chief of police, including all the department heads, they all report to me. It's not just one piece of paper that says that, it's all the job descriptions. They were trying to make a pyramid of city administrator. Everybody reports that way. That, according to the attorney.
And if we have a problem, then we go to Austin. We don't have to go to the shop and bother these guys when they're working. We don't have to, like, catch them, when they're in a hole digging or up,
As long as it's by the Kansas State Constitution. This attorney
Well,
from
that's-
the municipality, she said the simplest thing to do is get an opinion from the Attorney General and ask if we're in compliance with the state
And
constitution.
that's where John was getting when he said that he was clarifying and we had conflicts. You can go to different ordinances and charter ordinances that got passed and they contradict each other. Our
Well,
code
why don't
book.
we get it right?
Well, that's what,
we
that
did.
last
That's
time
what
we
were
were
doing.
passed was trying to consolidate that and make it all the same. Because John's argument is that that the charter ordinance that got passed years ago when they opted out, what they should have done was passed a charter ordinance that didn't state what we were gonna do, that just stated we were opting out, and then passed an ordinance, not a charter ordinance, just an ordinance that set what policy was gonna be. But instead they lumped it all into the charter ordinance, but that part where they said what they were going to do or how they were gonna handle that position, it didn't even need to be in there. Not in the charter
I want to see it
ordinance.
in compliance with the state constitution to be able to do that. I still don't believe our attorney is correct about that.
Well, his argument is that they already opted out, and at that point, council can set by ordinance
What did they opt
what they
out
wanna
of,
do
Jason?
You're
You're talking about
The
18?
statute.
18?
two different times that they opted out.
Why don't you just ask for a motion? See. Yeah, 9, they repealed. And 18.
nobody can find a technical error to begin with. That's another thing, when we're doing something and we're basing it on what we intended or whatever.
Well, I guess, I mean, do you want to make a motion then that we send a letter to the, we have our
Ask our
lawyer?
attorney, yeah.
Ask our attorney? You
I
want to make a motion that we ask our attorney?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we request an opinion from the Attorney General.
Okay. Have a second?
I'll second
Barry?
it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, what, 4-2, or 2-4?
2-4.
Okay. Next, notices and hearings. Use permitted upon review, Venture Real Estate.
Let me do a preface to this. These are notices coming from the Planning Commission that they have voted on and approved these use permitted upon reviews. And this is for your information, and I will pull those. There's no action requested at this point in time as the final authority was through the Planning and Planning Commission. So this is, let's see. Planning Commission met in December to have a hearing, use permitted upon review for Adventure Real Estate at 1374 Highway 77. Rick Stoll, the owner of the ground. Rick is looking to put up a 4-camper parking area with hookups to water, sewer, and electric. After having a hearing, the Planning Commission voted to approve the application for use permitted upon review for that travel camper site. The other one is Planning Commission met to have a hearing for Little Lamb's Daycare at 206 South 17th Street. They are wanting to put in the daycare facility in one end of the school, and the Planning Commission voted to approve that for the child care center. So those were for your information. Was that in December? Was that in December?
We don't have to approve them. We don't have to
You can't
vote on them.
approve,
No.
no, they get to approve them. The, Adventure Real Estate should be noted that that's in the extraterritorial. It is not within the city.
Right.
Right.
That is out of town. But we still have,
South of town?
yes, we still, our planning and zoning is still
The 3
in
mile
effect
deal.
out there
Yep,
within
3
the 3
miles.
mile. That's why it's in there. I know when I looked at that, I was like, why are we doing this? But that's
Yep.
why. And the daycare is in town.
But we don't have anything to say about
No,
this.
it's just for your information.
Yep. Wanted to keep you in the loop.
Okay. Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda for the alcohol consumption at the Lee Game Arts Center.
Okay,
Second.
have a second? Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 6-0. All right, next up, we have appropriations ordinance number 3752.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance 3752 in the amount of $503,674.41.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Yes.
Pipia,
Yes.
Schroller,
Yes,
Hughes,
Yes.
Price,
Yes.
Barons,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
6-0.
Okay. Next up, Austin with the staff reports.
All right, first up, I have the outfitting of the police vehicle. We just got a notice today. Our police vehicle is in. We'll get it on Thursday when he brings it over. So that is good. They must have been getting computer chips in, so that's good for us. Attached is a quote to install the equipment for the new police vehicle. It includes a shelving unit to help protect the equipment from being tossed around while driving, and I included the information for that shelving unit for you to look at so we can keep our equipment safe.
Which one are we getting? There's 4 different ones here.
Oh, the one on, where'd you go, single transport, that was, yeah, single prisoner transport, shelving unit, which is on, the, one on 48, that's the left one.
Well, I figured that out, but on page 49,
Right, that was just extra, pages they included in there, but, I probably shouldn't have added those, but that was their whole document, that I put in.
well, the other's just seating.
Right. So the shelving unit is what just the shelving unit, and that's,
$11,000 for a shelving unit.
no.
No,
Here's
it's
the quote
lights
right here.
and everything.
The shelving unit itself is $3,000. That's the big ticket item on this whole quote, was the $3,025.
Big ticket item. What'd we pay for that truck to begin with?
39.
39.
Well, we're about to pay for it,
So it's
39,000.
gonna be a $50,000 police car.
Right.
So page
Look at what he's-
49 doesn't apply to anything then.
No, it should be just that shelving unit.
Oh.
So is the
It said
shelving,
it said seating unit, so that's why I was trying to figure out what you were
Yeah.
talking
is
about.
the shelving unit taking the place of the passenger seat in the front of the truck?
No, it's taking one of the back seats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
What's gonna
will this go in another vehicle if we get another,
If
when
it-
it,
Okay.
If it matches up, yes. Otherwise,
Every time that they change the model, even between Ford, say a 2019 and 2022, a lot of times they change it enough that stuff won't interchange. I think it says right in there somewhere, vehicle specific.
So it's just out, down the tubes.
Well, I
You
mean,
don't know that. You don't know that until
I-
that moment.
Yeah.
well, they use it every day for 5 years, I mean, until it gets enough
Might be
mileage on it,
wore
we
out
get
in
rid of
5
it.
years.
Well, they typically.
Oh, we had high
cut
crime,
out
you're
our-
right.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with high crime, it has high use.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
They don't
I
haul
could-
prisoner every day, I don't think.
I
No, but they
bet-
drive
well,
it around on the
but the stuff in the
streets.
bet you'd be shocked what they do with
It's,
it every
it's,
day.
it's just the name. If they're picking up somebody, arresting somebody, it's not just for prisoners. It's just a name for the shelving unit. They can put, their normal everyday equipment on there. It's something that's, I think if we would've had a SUV, we probably would've had that extra storage space and maybe a little bit, different setup, but the pickups require a little bit ingenuity right here.
But it allows them to be able to lock them down, the items?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
if they do have a wreck,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't
Right.
go anywhere?
Right, or if they
Doesn't become a missile.
Right.
yeah, if they
Front
get in, yeah,
windshield.
if they get into wreck, if they're in a high-speed chase, down the highway, just their equipment stays in one spot. And that was the main idea. The prisoner seating is kind of misleading. It's really just about storing the equipment, even if there's nobody in that passenger seat.
Well, that end figure there at 10,672 is an add-on to the original cost, so that's putting our police vehicles in the $50,000 range if we're gonna start doing that with all of them.
Right. And this might have been lower. Like I said, we probably wouldn't be buying a new light bar if we weren't going from SUV to a pickup. Probably, it's not always guaranteed, but probably. But some of this goes between truck to truck or SUV to SUV a little bit better. But since we're going from SUV to pickup, some of the stuff doesn't fit from one to the other.
Who did we have doing these?
Who did, KCOM out of
Kcom,
Manhattan.
okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Are they no longer in business, or?
They are, but this is, seems to be a better resource, rather than waiting a couple months, for the setup. They have everything in stock. We'll get it back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
That'd be nice, because
Yeah.
we've had vehicles,
Oh, I
we've had
know.
it sitting around waiting until they got outfitted.
It's just.
I'm just curious. Like I said, I didn't think this was the same company we'd used.
And in fact, we might look at their solution, because next year, when we go to order a police vehicle, possibly getting a quote just for them to order the vehicle, because they are a dealer. They have a dealer license, and what they do is they order in the right vehicle, outfit it, and deliver it to us. And it's just a one-stop everything. So thinking ahead, we're trying to see where that's at. But we might get a quote for that
Say
next
we
year.
had a pretty good municipality discount on them though.
Yeah. But, so that's where we're at. So we're looking at approval for this, so we can get the nice new truck that we just got in today.
Okay. Does somebody want to make a motion?
Move to approve outfitting the new police truck with Superior.
Superior Serve.
Emergency, yep.
Amount of $10,672.51.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right.
5-1.
All right, next thing on my list is the closing of the pool. I wanted to keep you guys informed about what's going on, included his calendar for the pool in August. Our last weekday for swimming between 1 and 8 p.m. is going to be August 13th. That's the last time we'll have staff before school gets back in, and we were lucky to get staff for that week because 2 days started, are starting that week for sports. We will be open for these hours on the weekends up until August 28th. Morning swim will go until August 28th as they are right now. Crystal will be cleaning the pool as much as she can while it is open. And then preparing for the pool closure for the season. On August 29th, pool staff will come back and do a full cleaning of the pool so that it may be closed for the season. And if you look at the calendar, you can see the blue is the 1 to 8. The morning swim goes from the 1st to the 28th as it is right now, and then cleaning day on August 29th. That's just as staff allows us to do that when they're available. Does anybody have any questions about that? If there are no questions, that is all I have. John McNish did send a statute because we had been talking about rental inspections or property inspections in general. And I knew there was a statute out there, I just didn't know where it was or which one that governed cities' ability to inspect rentals or residential property as it states. This 12-16-138, it prohibits cities from periodically inspecting residential properties. We can, however, do it on a complaint basis if I believe it says, provided I think it says the legal resident of the property. Are you seeing that wording? The legal occupant has consented to lawful occupant. The lawful occupant has consented to such interior inspection. So basically, upon request or upon complaint, we did email out the brochure and gave that ad hoc committee the brochure physically that staff had been working on after we found out about our minimal housing code. We put together the brochure to do a highlight of tenant's rights or an occupant's rights to the property they're inhabiting, and what the landlord might be liable for. And they can contact us if they do have a complaint about their property. So I just wanted to provide an update, and you should have seen that brochure in your email if you weren't on the ad hoc committee. But that's all I had for right now.
Do we print those brochures ourselves?
Yes. So we can
Okay.
change.
I did find a couple of little errors in it, which is no big deal, but
Okay.
anyway, can we, if and when we ever do a newsletter, can we put some information in the newsletter about it so people, we get some updates or something, and maybe we can visit with it? I have some people that I would like to have nominated for the ad hoc committee, not council people. Can we do that?
If the
I mean, I've talked to them, and they have consented if the council will approve them.
right. So if you guys are still wanting to have the ad hoc committee, I mean, that's up to the mayor to appoint, so.
So I
We
guess,
need more, I guess, what's the plan from here
because
on, with that committee?
it's complaint driven, we can't have a random, we can't do inspections or have inspections. What's the point of doing an ad hoc committee? That's what I wanna know.
Well, just if we do have people that complain or something, or just to make some plans, I mean, because I've got some other information, but like I talked to Bud Schutte and to Jane and Jeff Sandstrom, and they said that they would like to, I mean, just so that we can kind of be ready, or if people, just to have some information out there if people do. I know we have to be by complaint, but, just so we can kind of plan what we would like to have people know that they can do if they do have some problems. I just think that it would be a good idea to.
People are gonna complain to the ad hoc committee?
No.
No, to the city.
They want to come up with, if I'm hearing you
Yeah.
right, they want to come up with a,
Like a plan of what we can do if people do complain, I mean, and just give maybe some ideas that we can put in the newsletter, or just, I mean,
We have
I think the code book already spells most of it out as
Yeah,
far
it
as
does.
what our
yeah.
options are.
Code book gives a process.
Code book has a board of health, and it defines them people. No, this is this is
well,
what I'm talking about.
I understand that, but I mean, I just,
No, but what I'm saying is I've looked up your deal, and in your code book, it lists the Board of Health, which we may have to find some people for, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that. And it has the duties of the Board of Health.
and then also, I was going through some of our old Kansas government journals, and there's some other things, that some of these cities have done to encourage people to fix up their housing and things like that, and some of those things that maybe we could look at, that maybe the city could do also. So there's a lot of things out there that the city could do to encourage people to
And the
work
city
on their,
has had some programs in the past, I know, and some incentive programs.
to get people to paint their housing and stuff like that, and I think that might be some things that we could also do, so, I mean, I don't think it would hurt for us to look at it.
Well, that's,
So you're not wanting an ad hoc committee just for the complaint, you're wanting it for other.
For other things, to encourage people to clean up their houses and to,
Did you ever get one of the flyers that these guys printed off? Oh, you did?
Yeah, she
yes,
found,
I
yeah.
have it, I have one.
I noticed the two that you talked about were just landlords. Have you ever thought about seeking out tenants to get the other side?
Well, those are the only ones I've talked to, because, we need to start somewhere, and, if
Yeah.
anybody's got suggestions, that's fine, but I was told that I had to have it approved by the council, so, but,
Right. No, that was just a question, because from my experience and just personal experience, the landlord has one side of it, definitely, and
Well-
then the tenant has the other. And if you're looking for, help from both, I would probably recommend if you know of somebody.
Well, that's great. I
Yeah.
mean, but we need to start somewhere, and like I said, there was some information in some of these that were, like the city would maybe have something like we have this $2,500, for people to tear things down and stuff, and that they had, like one city had $10,000 that they'd put aside for, even for businesses and for housing,
Right.
that they encourage people up to $500 or something like that, to paint and to do, a yard, landscaping and things like that to encourage the neighbors, their neighborhood to fix up,
Talking
and-
incentive program for rentals though, where we would pay the
No,
landlord?
this would be,
Homeowners?
homeowners or anything, I mean, just to get people to fix up their neighborhoods, If one person does it, then maybe other people will, I mean, I think we could tailor it to however we wanted it, but we need to have,
I've seen lots of positive things. We've all seen a lot of positive things about our demolition incentive. I mean, even with our sidewalk program.
Right.
And I've seen I mean, it wouldn't be so far-fetched to include the incentive of painting your house or to that likes. I mean, we just need, that committee could definitely help write that up.
right, but.
Yeah.
But I think it's somewhere to start, and I have some things in some of the magazines and stuff, that I had, so, anyway, that's,
And you're thinking an ad hoc committee to kind of look at some of these ideas?
well, I don't know.
What about the
Well-
current?
I mean, the current one?
Yeah. I mean, I forget the specs of how you started that ad
I can't
hoc.
remember how wide, I mean, it was just to basically look at complaints and compliance and, this is in regards to rentals.
But maybe if we had an ad hoc committee, maybe people would be encouraged to talk to them, I mean, or-
What I found out, a lot of
Yeah.
times, just standing in the shop, is people like to do a lot of complaining. They don't want to bring a lot of resolution to the table. And when you try to guide them into a way for the resolution, that's not really what they want to hear. I mean, it would be nice if we could get a group together to get some people in the neighborhoods, especially, again, I'm gonna put this out on the table, that one on North Street, about 10th in there, that lovely blue one. That's, we're chasing our tail with that. It's just, because it's owned by one of our not so fabulous landlords. So, I mean, it's a really good idea. I hope we could get people in to actually talk to us and be proactive. But as of right now, I don't know. I don't know, maybe this'll, it would help.
But sometimes it's not the landlord's fault.
Right. That's the one I'm talking about. It's not the
Sometimes it's the
landlord's
tenant that the landlord lets in the place that
Yeah.
discourages it and lets it run down and,
Yeah.
the trash and all that buildup. It has nothing to do with the landlord themselves. It is
But
100% the
your
tenant's
land-
fault.
Well, if
Landlord
they're
let him in.
Well, but they
Yeah,
don't
but
always
sometimes
know, yeah.
it's not easy to get them out either once you get them in.
No.
but we have to start someplace, and I mean, if we get people talking and start doing something, maybe then it'll, but I don't, whatever, I guess.
Well, what's the council think? You wanna have another ad hoc, have another meeting? To kind of brainstorm about some of these, some incentives to get people to
I'd like
paint
to,
their
I would
house
like to
and
hear,
things.
feedback from Bud and Jeff.
Mhm.
And, maybe another, person who has quite a few rentals. Dan would be a very good one to have also, since he works for the city also. Dan would be a good one.
And that's one of those things, I don't know if you do by ad hoc or you just have a during a council meeting, or how you would handle that?
I have maybe a throwing it out there.
Forum kind of a thing?
What if we come up with some ideas? So you brought up the painting, where you incentivize painting your house. And it does not turn away from anything else. But if we can find an ordinance from another community, if you have another, or maybe we find an ordinance and they go, and does painting or a policy, and we can interchange painting with landscaping with, well, that's kind of might be a stretch because landscaping changes on a daily basis. Or anything else to incentivize the upkeep of a property. And just come up with maybe a possible, a blank slate ordinance that says we'll provide blank for the owner of property to do blank. And we can tailor that to however the council wants to do that, and set aside $10,000, $20,000 like we already do for demolition of property to dole out as a grant or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, is that something the council would be willing to go for, or I mean, you could still meet, and a meeting probably wouldn't be a bad idea either. Multiple meetings, trying to figure out what our community needs, or maybe what's a bigger fix to start with. So, I mean, just throwing it out there, we could.
You want a community meeting then?
Well, no, I'm just thinking.
Detailed into, I mean, I don't know what she's looking for.
Well,
mean,
I
if she
think
wanted
we
some
just
more
need to
people
have a
should come
committee
in.
meeting and
So
then
a
have them
committee
bring
meeting.
it to the, well, bring it to the, you know, like you had the Parks and Rec Committee or something like that, and bring it to the council instead of us do it in front of the whole I mean, it's kind of hard for everybody, you know, and
Yeah.
get something together, look into it, see what other cities are doing or something like that, you know?
Okay.
Like I said, there were some ideas in some of these magazines, maybe we can call them or, you know, check with them and see how they're doing it and see how it's working or something like that.
Yep.
And then maybe put something in the newsletter about, encourage people if they're having problems with their landlords or something, and then maybe they'll come forward too, you know, I mean, just get it so that they know that we're working on this.
Right.
And, you know, just kind of push, so we can get some of our neighborhoods cleaned up, I think, so.
Right.
Because I think this turned down some of these buildings and stuff, you know. And FEMA, people have been asking, I've had a couple people asking, there's nothing we can do about the FEMA lots?
No, it takes, as far as every time we ask, it's an act of Congress to do anything with that. The FEMA has paid for lots not only in our town, but in other communities on coastlines and all over the nation, that if they were to give us control of that property back, they would have to give everybody.
But you can't buy the FEMA lots back.
Nope.
So they're just always gonna be that way.
Right, that's FEMA's insurance policy, to make sure.
You can use them for gardens and stuff like
Yes.
that, but that's all you can
That's-
do.
They really
that's
don't
it.
want fences,
Pay
they
to have
want no
somebody
buildings.
mow them.
Yeah.
I know,
We've-
but I mean, it's such a waste, because
I know
there's
it is.
property,
Right.
there, and it's so, I mean, why?
Well,
why
part of it
can't
is if they're along the river, you know, we have a dike.
Well, I realize that, but, I mean,
Yes.
you've talked to, I mean,
This is,
they've talked
I've
about
at
it.
least, yes, multiple times in my 5 years here.
I was gonna say, I brought this up to you like 10 months ago.
Yeah, and I've particularly asked FEMA at least 3 times just to double check, and other avenues, and we have records of going to Congress members
We had,
back before I was here. So it's,
Went to.
I mean, even if you tried to buy the property back at the price that they gave us, you still can't, nobody
Says
can buy
it's
them
ours
back.
in perpetuity, and you can't
Yeah.
get rid of it, and you can't do anything with it.
Perpetuity.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've asked multiple times. Yeah, it's not a new thing.
I'm sure it was a good idea at the time when they did it, but
Yeah.
I can't remember,
Once the
one
dike got put
mayor
in,
actually did
yeah.
know somebody in Congress and tried. Said, oh, I can get this changed. And it didn't work.
Because it's not just us, it'd be all over the United States, everybody would be going, hey, I know a guy that, I know a town that has some lots like that, and it'd be never ending.
Well, I know, but I mean, it's so silly,
So-
they're just there, and it costs the city and everybody
Yep.
to take care of them, and
Yep, but that's just where
Some of
it's
the
at.
people I know in the west end like that extra lot between them and their neighbors too.
But there's a lot of them that like it and wish that they could buy it, and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Something with
Put
it.
Wish
a
they could buy
garage or
it.
something on it too, yeah, I
and
understand
it
that
costs the
too.
city a lot of money to take care of them,
Yep.
you know?
Mow
Yeah.
'em, yeah.
Taking care of mine that's right next door to me, I'm paying to have it mowed, I sprayed it for mosquitoes.
Yeah, no, we wish people could buy them, but no, that would be great. That'd take one thing off our plates.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, so
Well-
we'll have another ad hoc meeting then to kind of brainstorm about some of these
Okay.
so,
ideas.
but you won't approve the people that I asked then?
I don't, who you,
But
you
Judy
want
and
to
Jeff
add
Sandra.
them to the, I mean, if that's up to council, if they, we can add them.
Can you
But at the
ask,
same time, I think if you're gonna add, I don't know if you'd wanna add them to the committee or just have kind of an open meeting where people from the community could come and discuss it with the, kind of an open meeting, basically. Or if you're gonna put landlords on there, then you also need to get some homeowners probably and some tenants.
Homeowners and tenants, yes.
Well, I didn't say that, but I mean, I don't care about that if you have somebody, but you won't approve these until we have somebody else in, is what you're saying.
You can.
Okay.
I mean, I would guess, I mean, if you're just talking, I think that the enforcement side, as far as the landlords, is pretty much taken care of, though, at this point. I mean, unless we're gonna change our policy, but it's complaint driven. So I don't, the ones that, and I talked to a few landlords, and the main concern that they had was they didn't want to have mandatory yearly inspections that was just incurring another cost on them. Whether it was $200 per rental per year, whatever, that they had to then pass on to their tenants.
Well, that's why I asked landlords, is because these guys didn't
Yeah.
really act like it was a big deal, so that's why
That's what I'm saying, but we can't even do the yearly inspections, so
I understand that,
we can do complaint driven.
Jason, but that's
Yeah.
why I asked landlords to be, these three people,
Okay,
to be on there, so either if we can't vote on it or we won't vote on it, so
No, we
that's what
can
I
add
need
them.
to know, so.
Does council want to add
So,
a few landlords on there? Seriously,
if
they're
you
the
have
same
somebody else
bud.
that you want to be on there, some tenants or something,
Dan,
that's fine
what's
with me,
Dan's
so.
last name? Works for
No,
the
but I'd
city.
hate to point him when, has anybody talked to Dan, and has he agreed to
Morley.
be
Morley.
on
We
a
can
committee?
ask him.
Well, if we need something, we don't want all landlords, then we need to, if already got landlords, then we need to get some tenants or something then, so. We don't, you know,
And if you're gonna do an incentive program, you might wanna have some homeowners.
Well, because that's what you're going to have to decide on the incentive program, is are you gonna incentivize,
Right.
do you have to be a homeowner, or are you gonna
I would
incentivize
say-
landlords? I don't know. I mean, it's a business, so do you
Well,
wanna
yeah.
subsidize that or not? I mean, that's up to council to decide.
Lawful
but-
owner,
Yep.
but not the tenant.
Well, I think what he's getting at is
I'm talking, do you wanna incentivize, like I've got a rental, do you wanna pay me to side my house, or that's a business, is that expensive? I should pay for, I'm getting rent. Some of that rent is supposed to go to upkeep of the property.
what, most,
Compared to somebody that owns their house, do you wanna incentivize them somehow to do some updating to their house?
well,
If
they only
own it.
paid them so much. I mean, they only paid them up to a certain amount, like up to $500 or
Yeah.
something like that, you know? So it gave them the incentive to go ahead and do something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're not paying them to do the whole thing.
No, it's kinda like the demolition, it covers part of it.
Yes.
But that's, I mean, because we had the same discussion when we did the incentives for the demolitions, was, do you wanna pay, if you're a business, do you wanna pay for that or not? And council approved, and I was one of those that was kind of, but they said no for everybody. And it's worked out, because we've had a lot of people that had a business, and we have paid to demolish it, and they're building something, and we're getting tax revenue, so it's, in the long run, we're making that money back. But it's, like I say, it's a discussion to have, is, what, do you want to cover everything, just homeowners, do you want to focus on homeownership, or just,
Well, that's something that we
improving
need, that's something
appearance
that
in
we have to
general.
figure out. I mean, that's
Yeah.
something we would have to discuss. And once the money's gone, you know, then we would have to wait till the next year
Yeah.
to do it, so.
Oh, yeah. So you're asking to have who all added to that ad hoc committee?
Well, Jeff and Jane Sandstrom,
Okay,
and Bud Shooty.
okay.
And is there already members, already people on it?
What?
Just three,
Just the
Bobby,
three.
Diane, and Keith, I
And
think.
Keith, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So is council in favor of adding Sandstrom's and Bud Shooty to the ad hoc?
Make a motion.
You want to make a motion? Someone to make a motion to add them to the ad hoc committee? Diane? You want to make a motion?
I make a motion, I guess, if I can.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, somebody will second that?
I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Who
5-1.
voted aye? Kevin?
5-1.
You ought to have an open meeting. You need to get everybody here, not just a certain few.
Oh, okay, well, that's fine, Kevin.
Okay.
You're not benefiting the landlord, you're benefiting the whole
I got-
community.
Well,
Yes.
I'm not saying
Anything
that we
else?
can't,
You got anything
have
else on staff
landlord
reports, or is
or
that it?
have other
I got
people.
nothing else.
Okay. Next up, standing committee reports. Anybody have anything under street? Water and wastewater?
They get all the water lines in up around the fire department yet?
No, they do not have all the water lines in yet.
Okay.
I'm pushing like today, they had a sewer emergency out on the highway.
I saw that.
Yeah. And it,
I know.
yeah, it seems to be, I hate this. I don't hate this, but it is where we're at right now.
Kevin's trying to be nice about it. I won't be. They cannot hold up the completion of that
Correct.
because that's what's gonna end up happening.
I know they wanna get going on the concrete very quick.
Yes,
I don't know that, but.
yeah.
Yes, they do.
Oh, I would
Yes, they
think so.
do. Yeah, I know that. I know they do want to. Yeah, it's been on the top of the list, but every freaking time we turn around, it's something like that. And I know I don't like making excuses, but I bring it up every day.
I know. If we're having problems, do we need to go out and hire somebody to come in and do it?
I'm this close.
You know what I mean?
I know
We
what you
need
mean.
to,
Yeah. Yeah. I'll keep on top of it.
okay.
Anything else on water and wastewater? Parks and Rec?
Under recreation, August 29th on a Sunday at 9:30 a.m., they're gonna have a disc golf tournament in the city park.
Saw that.
So,
This Sunday?
August 29th,
Oh, August the
29th.
Which would be the same weekend as the Boss Nationals
Yeah.
and the.
all that's on
All
Friday,
that's-
all that's on Saturday, so.
Right,
Yeah.
no, but it's just
Well,
the
the
same
walls
weekend.
should still be here on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be packing up and leaving.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on Parks and Rec? Cemetery and Airport?
New flagpoles look wonderful out at the cemetery.
Yes.
To drive by and see.
Yeah.
Our runway come out good after the, last belly landing, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of superficial stuff.
Okay. And
Yeah.
all the runway lights were fixed?
Yes, the one that was taken out, yes.
Just one?
Yep.
Somebody asked me, that's the reason I asked.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
Anything else on Cemetery and Airport?
I need to go back to park, or recreation. Can we get the overflow valve fixed on the pool yet?
I don't think it's fixed yet.
No.
It's, she says no.
What do you mean? We got the
auto
part
fill.
in.
The
autofill.
Autofill.
Right, the autofill's not fixed.
The part is in.
Right. but
It is
not
in
fixed.
finally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. When is the pool company gonna come up and weld them
Can't hear you.
together? When's the pool company gonna come up and weld the deals back together, the
Stainless
stainless steel
steel.
trays?
We're gonna mark those at the end of the season, and then, they can either, when they have availability, either this fall or before we put water in it. But as long as we have them marked, they can come in at any time after the pool's down.
Is Crystal gonna get us a list at the end of the year, everything that needs to be
Yes,
fixed?
yep.
All right, anything else on Parks and Rec? Nothing else on cemetery and airport? Police and fire?
You heard, go ahead, Terry.
Oh, I don't know whether it would come under police and fire, but I do know that we have some code violations as far as being able to see and find fire plugs right now.
Fire
I think that
hydrants?
should be brought to somebody's attention.
Do you have
Where,
locations?
yeah.
Pardon?
Do you have locations so we can address it easily?
Well, there's a couple of them, yeah. Well, there's a bunch of them probably, but I haven't gone around to play inspector. I just figured maybe we should ask the fire department or somebody to get them cleaned up.
The,
Well,
Well,
the
I'm gonna do
property
it
owner,
is
yeah.
which ones are you talking about, even what part of town?
Well, there's one on Jayhawk Road, there's one up here on 8th Street that's got limbs hanging on it.
Okay,
I haven't driven around to find out how many more there is, but you can't even see the one up on Jayhawk Road that's just east of my house.
Well, they got a bush around it or something, or just grass growing up tall, or what's around
The
it?
weeds are as tall as the
Weeds.
ceiling.
Okay, well,
Weeds. East of your house.
And which brings up to mind too, we have a fire plug that's not accessible. That maybe somebody should be taking it out and it's on the road that we never have approved putting in,
where is it at?
accessible.
on 12th.
That's perfectly fine, it's there for future.
Yeah.
Pardon?
It's there for future,
You talking on the end of 12th where it
where it's
kinda ends?
grass, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for future
Originally, that was
improvements.
slated to have a road at some point through there, but it's never
I'm
happened.
not worried about it, but I'm just saying there's one that's not accessible to the fire department.
how's it not accessible? Them big trucks go across grass without a problem.
Well, I guess you can put it that way.
That's what we do when we chase pasture fires. We can drag hose. We do it. I'm just saying, pulling out a fire hydrant, not a fire plug,
I didn't
a
say
fire
to
hydrant
pull it
is,
out,
does not
Parker.
make a lot of sense.
Don't be so cantankerous.
I'm not. You're a problem.
Okay, all right,
Get a leash on him.
Really, I have to listen to that.
all right, back to order. We're talking about fire hydrants. I mean, if there are some that are covered up, I'm sure that in our code book and probably in our
Code, it's in
fire,
the,
I'm
it's
sure,
it's in the
sure we
code.
got
It's
probably
in
several
the-
places that say that you have to have, if you got a fire hydrant in your property, you have to keep it maintained around it so you have access.
Yes,
And if we're
So I'd say
inspecting,
if we've got some that are not in compliance, then we need to know about it and have Will notify them that they need to get it trimmed.
Yep.
Right?
yeah, we have a code that covers that,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, and if you know some, then let Will know and we'll
one
just
that he says
let
has
Will know
weeds.
that next time he drives around town looking for grass and stuff, that he can
Whose property
just
is
keep an
it?
eye out for fire hydrants too.
Jayhawk's easy, probably gonna be easy to find.
Well, whose property is it on Jayhawk Road?
Um,
No.
yeah,
But it's obviously somebody that's not mowing the roadside.
right.
And I'm gonna say that's gonna go from his house that way. Be my guess. I don't know whose it is.
Yeah.
You talking east of you, west of you,
that seems to me.
east?
Where 12th Street would go through if they've ever put the street in.
Okay,
And the other ones up here where you say the bushes can grow forever, but yet the limbs are hanging over the fire hydrant. It's in the middle of the block.
okay. Okay, yeah, well, we'll take a look at it.
Yep.
Anything else on police and fire? Admin and finance? Yes, Terry?
One question, because I know the next thing's coming up is appointments, and because this is administration finance, have we determined who our health officer is now?
I talked to, because the county is gonna have to find a new health official and a new, health department administrator, I think is what the title is. Because John provided those services for the county too.
I think it's
And-
imperative we get somebody
Yeah,
to
and
take
he's
care
got,
of
I
this.
think, like another month left.
Situation in the city, is
I
pandemic change again.
I talked to Sue, and I told her to keep me in the loop who the county finds to fill that role. Because it's possible, and to me it makes sense if you have a county health official, if they're willing to also have the city health official, then you're getting the same messaging instead of one has one opinion, the other one, and then you're not getting the same opinion from two different public health officials in the area. But it's possible that, you know, they'll find somebody and they won't want to,
Well, I
have to
think
look
it's
for somebody
something
for the
that should
city.
be addressed
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
Anything else on admin and finance?
I was looking on our website, and I see there's no contact information for any of the council people. When we used to do a newsletter, we had our phone
It
numbers.
used to be in there.
We had our phone numbers on the website, or on the newsletter.
You know, I know
On
with.
the newsletter.
I know with that typically, I mean, it was up to the council members if they wanted to, because some people don't want to have their number out there and some people do.
On the website, you can click on your name and send
Send
contact,
an
yes.
email.
Yeah.
Well, I think we need to have the phone numbers.
I don't.
I don't either.
Because some of us still have these jobs, and we can't be harassed at work, like some of us have been. I don't mind taking my phone call after 4 o'clock, but I do have this job.
Okay.
Well, would you want to be harassed while you're working?
Well, then don't answer your phone then, so, or let them
You
leave a
don't know
message.
who it is all the time.
Well, I understand
I mean,
that.
do you guys live in the modern world of where the phone rings and somebody can actually call you from your own number and you don't know who it is? Yeah, that happens a lot.
Had
It's a
that happen.
scammer, it happens a lot. I cannot be at work and get a phone call to get chewed on, which I don't mind after 4 o'clock, because I have a job.
But not everybody.
Respect that.
But not everybody has computers and cell phones and emails and all of this stuff. There's a lot of senior citizens, especially, that don't have that. So I feel like if we run for office and we need to have some way that people can get a hold of us with a regular phone.
The newsletter will have the chosen whatever the council person chose to supply as their contact. I think the newsletter has that contact information.
Yeah, but we haven't done a newsletter for a year, so.
We got it mostly done, yeah.
Okay. But still, they need to have some way to contact us if we're running for office, if they don't have a way for emails and stuff, so.
Like I say, that's up to the
And they can
council
always
members,
write a
how they
letter, and we
prefer to
can-
be contacted.
I mean, after the last email that we got, I don't know why you would want to have your phone number out there and get that while you're at work, but that's just me.
Well, but we ran for office, and that's just part of the deal. I mean, that's,
Yep.
If somebody wants a hold of you bad enough, they'll find a way.
Find you.
Say, people get a hold of me
But
just
to me,
fine.
my phone number's out there and I've got it on the side of my truck and I'm still in the phone book because I still got a
Well,
home
that's right.
landline.
Yeah.
But I've had people come to my front porch and come to the back
They get
porch
a hold
and, I
of me
mean, they'll
just-
follow you. They'll
Yeah,
find
they
you
get a
if
hold
they
of me
want you.
just fine.
If they're upset enough, they will find you.
And I've had people get a hold of me at work, and it went well. It went great. Still have my job, though. That's all that mattered.
Good.
Because they were persistent and wouldn't quit
Good.
11 times in 35 minutes. But hey, maybe I just don't answer the phone.
well, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's the way I feel about it. I feel like if you're running for office, then you should have your
And-
information out there, so
and-
people,
and
they
typically-
they elected us, and that's why
Yes.
we're.
Yeah.
But as typically, as a resident, if you have an issue, you want to report something, I always tell people the best thing to do first off is call City Hall about it. Get a work ticket made up, get it reported down here, because I'll say, sometimes I'm bad, look, if they catch me, I'm in the middle of rooting out a sewer, and I make a mental note of it, I may or may not remember that 2 hours later.
But if you're
I'm
having a
terrible
problem
about
with a
that stuff.
product or something like that, and you're having trouble with something, don't you want to talk to a person?
Well, and typically, I mean, if they call down here and they are not getting the result that they want, then they'll usually get a hold of you, which is fine.
Okay.
I say it's up to council members how they want to be contacted. Myself, I know I had my phone number in there, and like I say, I'm in the book, and a lot of people know where I live. I'm driving a big truck with my number on the side of it, so.
Well, I can't say that I've had that many nasty phone calls, so, but.
I've had a few
Mm-hmm.
over the years, but worst emails. The emails seem to be nastier than the phone calls.
Well, because they're not as likely to say things to you. They'll say
exactly
more,
what they
they'll
won't say
say
to
things
your
in an email
face.
that they wouldn't. But a lot of senior citizens and stuff do not have computers or.
And that's true.
Or emails.
That's true.
So,
And those are the ones that call me on my landline, because they've still got a landline and they still get a phone
Yes.
book, and they will look my name up in the phone book.
and that's, when we run for an office, that's what we need to expect. I mean, that's
Oh,
what
yeah,
we're there
it's
for.
part of it.
So we need to have a way for them to get a hold of us, so,
And I agree, but they also can't abuse it.
well,
Well, the last one abused it, sent me pictures, everything like that, and when I did a little research on it, they weren't telling the truth. Because the guys were working that day that they're complaining. And the guys were actually cleaning it up and doing the job, and it's not how they made it out to be. So.
Okay. All right. Anything else under admin and finance? We don't have any appointments. City attorney's not here. Do we need to call an executive session for anything?
Are we having one?
It's up to you guys if you want to have one or not.
Where's the paper?
I got, what, for which one?
Session?
Personnel,
For
executive for
personnel.
personnel or property?
Personnel.
Personnel.
There you go.
I'll get it.
You can do it.
I just bring them.
You just bring them regular now.
I do, I just bring them every time because I never
We
know.
aren't buying any more property than I think.
I don't know.
I move the city council recesses into executive session to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel. Discussion on specific personnel matters, not general personnel policies. Exception KSA 75-4319B1. This session will include the mayor, city council members, and city administrators. The open meeting will resume in the city council chambers at 8:45?
Yeah.
8:45.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? 6-0.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Might hang on to it. taking a
mine
nice nap.
are back
There
on.
you go.
I didn't get one of those in today. I had to be in 8. They're about 8:30
Good to go?
Good to go.
Alright. Calls meeting back to order, no binding decisions were made. Next up, we have roundtable. Bobby?
No.
Diane?
Nope.
Terry?
No.
Parker?
Nothing at this time.
Colleen?
Nothing at this
Kevin?
time, sir.
Okay. I don't have anything either. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A second?
Second it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?